Hello, everybody. Hello again, and hello for those who haven't met me yet. I'm glad to be able to give you within the next 10 minutes a brief insight on the study on identification and analysis of sustainable innovative practices of adventure tourism. My team and me, we had the pleasure to do this interesting study last summer. And the idea of the study was, or what was the main purpose? The main purpose of the study was to identify and provide an insight on really innovative, sustainable adventure and sustainable tourism practices practiced around the world and within the Mediterranean region. The idea of this study was to develop, let's say, an inspiration guidelines for the Medusa destinations for their further flagship product development. What is really important is because we heard a lot about sustainability and the difference of flagship products and the difference between the level of development within the destinations. So for us, it was really important that the selected examples within our study focus on the identification of the most sustainable tourism practices in terms of generating a broad range of benefits for the local communities and tourism stakeholders. So we heard a lot about sustainable adventure tourism. Just let us fly through the topic of sustainable adventure tourism, because not every type of adventure tourism is really sustainable. I mean, sustainable adventure tourism is definitely one of the fastest growing tourism sectors. And it attracts high value customers, it can support local economies, and it also can encourage sustainable practices. According to the World Tourism Organization, there are two main categories of adventure tourism. It's hard adventure tourism, for example, it's caving, climbing, and soft adventure tourism, hiking, authentic experiences, or canoeing. You will find a whole exemplary list within our benchmark study, giving you an idea on more hard and soft adventure tourism examples. And there are also different types of adventure tourism. The adventure tourism enthusiasts, there are the extreme adventurer, and there is another group, which is the most interesting group because it's the most sustainable target group. It's the culturally interested hikers and trekkers. Why are they so interesting for us, or why are they the most sustainable target group? Because it's a quite broad range of target group. They are high value customers. They like to stay in the destination, spend money, and spend time in the destinations. So this is really a target group to go for. I mean, we heard a lot about adventure tourism, and it can certainly turn into an economic driving force once it's developed in a professional manner and once the right adventure tourism model has been selected. Why the right adventure tourism model? Because not every type of adventure tourism is sustainable. Generally speaking, soft adventure tourism types are more sustainable than hard ones. Why? Because sustainable adventure tourism practices require more sustainable tourism infrastructure like trails, signposts, local quality schemes, visitor guidelines, planning, and at the same time, they involve many local tourism stakeholders in the tourism value chain. For example, bed and breakfasts, local guides, small local restaurants, incoming tour operators. let's jump to one of the examples. We already heard from Lena a bit about the Jordan Trail. This is one of our practices we selected because we think it's a real good practice showcasing. It's a really good example for a sustainable adventure practice because soft mobility involving local communities. It leads through 52 villages and towns, and it's an exemplary practice because it shows the authentic Jordan. It helps the local development, and it leads, as I said, it leads to the villages. And the idea is that on the one hand side, the visitor, the hiker, can experience Jordan, but at the same time, the hiker has the possibility to stay with local people, and local people can benefit from this type of tourism. The same accommodations are also, people are staying, not only eating with local communities, they're also staying with local communities. Let's have another look at sustainable adventure tourism elements. I mean, on the one hand side, we have the essential elements of adventure tourism, showing nature, activity, and culture. And right in the middle, you have the experience, the core element of sustainable adventure tourism. And on the other hand side, you have the visitor's perspective. It's all about traveler's experience. The traveler is looking for the unique, the new experience, the challenge, and for a transformation and element. So what are international trends? We also had a quick look on international trends in regards to sustainable adventure tourism. It's definitely a growing segment. Adventure tourism is growing. Being local as an ultimate adventure, seeking to experience destination as temporary locals. This is definitely one strong future trend. So we have identified one top activity, which is hiking. Adventure travelers are most interested in hiking as an activity with custom itineraries, especially long-distance hiking or long-distance trekking or hiking combined with cultural experiences. This is a very interesting and sustainable trend. And last but not least, again, experiences, this live like a local, and it's a very strong and growing trend on the international sustainable tourism market. Travelers seeking experiences that allow them to unblock and to so-called dive in to a destination. So what we did a benchmarking on the selected destinations. The benchmarking study will present 45 sustainable good practices around the globe in 26 countries. They are scanned for key attractions, and one really important element was the sustainability check. So all scanned practices were checked according to their sustainability performance. 11 categories. So our the sustainable practices were divided into or selected into different categories. These categories are all they have been identified and elaborated based on the main assets of the Medusa destinations. It starts with destination development and marketing models. Protected areas and national parks is a key topic, as we learned from all the presentations. So we also had a look on different innovative and creative trail models, on so-called spiritual experiences, bicycling, mountain biking, water experiences. We also included city experiences, and featured several cultural experiences. Arts and craft is one topic, so-called innovative initiatives on the sustainable tourism market, and the last categories are leisure experiences. So let's have a quick look at the sustainability performance check, because the idea was to develop a brief assessment for each practice based on the global sustainable tourism criteria for destinations to assess the sustainability performance. The sustainability performance check were organized around the 4 topics: sustainability planning. So we had a look to what extent there are really sustainability, to what extent the practices are really sustainable in terms of planning, monitoring, and management. The second area, and one of the most important areas, are community benefits, maximizing social economic benefits for the local communities in terms of job, income, entrepreneurship. Cultural heritage, enhancing cultural heritage, the authenticity of the destination, promoting local traditions, local architecture, local cuisine. And the last one, the impact on the environment, minimizing negative impact on the environment and nature resources. Those were the key areas of the so-called sustainability performance check of all practices that were scanned. So now let's jump to the sustainable practices around the globe. We have 45 practices, very creative and inspiring and innovative ones from 26 countries. As already mentioned, the core element of the benchmarking study are those practices, and they were all selected based on the assets of the Medusa territories. We have several flagship trail products that were assessed. We have certified destinations. We have protected area with innovative flagship products. We have, as we already heard, there is, for example, the Jordan Biking Trail. One certified destination, the Azores. It's a complete sustainability certified destination. Oh, I have only 1 minute, so then I will jump through. So you will see we have only 1 minute left. So let's jump into the conclusion and recommendations then. There are 10 key areas for the development of adventure tourism practices, creating the highest level of sustainability performance, sustainability planning, community benefits, conservation and active promotion of cultural heritage, low impact tourism infrastructure, sustainable green building and construction, tourism activities generating the least possible impact, a great offer of local gastronomy, local products, the protection of biodiversity and natural heritage, soft mobility, and sustainable resource management among tourism businesses. So now we are already at the conclusion. If you compare our different practices, the ones that show the highest level of sustainability performance are those that are well planned and developed with a sustainability focused strategy, and while showing a minimal impact on the environment. So we have some examples for you. For example, the Azores, a destination developed based on a sustainable tourism charter for tourism. The Jordan Trail, we just heard about the Jordan Trail before, an example for a strong involvement of local communities. The Lebanon Trail, a very strong involvement of local communities, promoting cultural heritage for local products. And we have another trail, it's the 5C trail, excellent bottom-up approach, strong involvement of local communities. So in summary, the product hiking and well-designed hiking trails connecting nature and cultural heritage are the leading practices in terms of sustainability and community benefits. So now I will sum up with recommendations, the practical recommendations for destinations. So setting up a joint vision for sustainability is key for all tourism stakeholders. Assign an organization or department within your organization. Construction and building guidelines. Sustainable certification. Thank you.